On today's What Do We Do podcast, we're talking all about the millionaires next door. How did they get there? How do they stay there? And what can you do to get there and stay there too? It's going to be a great show, so hit the subscribe button, give us a follow, and let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the What Do We Do podcast. I'm Dewey Steffen, your host, and I'm also the CEO of Great Lakes Wealth. And today we're diving into a topic that might completely shift the way you think about building your wealth. And for this episode, it doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, or even 60 years old. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, how did they make it? They don't drive a flashy car. They don't even wear designer clothes. And they definitely don't live in a mansion. Yet somehow these folks are financially secure. Meanwhile, there are so many people out there, and I know too many of them personally, who do have six-figure incomes, but they are struggling to stay afloat. They have a fancy car. They do wear designer clothes, but in secret, they are living paycheck to paycheck. And actually, they're living paycheck to paycheck plus credit cards. And they're drowning in debt and they're feeling trapped. So what has happened? What's the difference? Is it luck? Is it inheritance? Or as I hear all the time on Instagram, TikTok, or even questions when I'm out and about, Dewey, there must be some secret investment that only the wealthy know about, right? Wrong. The real difference is their strategy, their plan, and their execution. It's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with the money when you make it. Today, I'm going to break down the habits, mindset, and strategies of everyday millionaires, the people who quietly build financial freedom without anyone realizing it. This is not an episode for those who inherited wealth. That's a whole nother story on how to manage your found fortune. For this episode, it's about becoming a millionaire when you don't start on third base. Because for these people, me included, the truth is wealth isn't about looking rich, it's about being rich. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a blueprint for doing just that. Okay, let's get started. Why income alone doesn't make you rich? Let's start with a reality check. Money is a tool, not a solution. So think about that for a minute. How many lottery winners go broke? How many professional athletes and celebrities who earn millions only find themselves bankrupt a few years later? Okay, it's not always about the money you make, it's about what you do with it once you have it. Now, on the flip side, how many teachers, nurses, or small business owners, people with perhaps modest incomes, end up retiring comfortably or even wealthy? Many of them are who we refer to as the millionaires next door or the millionaires on Main Street, not Wall Street. The difference isn't their paycheck, it's what they do with it. Okay, let's break it down with a simple example. Imagine two people. Person A earns $100,000 a year, but spends $110,000 a year living beyond their means, financing their lifestyle with debt. Person B only earns $50,000 a year, but only spends $40,000 and invests the $10,000 left over. 10 years later, who's in better shape? Person A may have had 10 years of lifestyle, but now they're drowning in debt and may not know where they're headed next. While person B had maybe a frugal 10 years, but now they're growing an investment portfolio, and that makes it all about decisions and not dollars. And here's the kicker. Studies show that 80% of financial success is based on behavior, not one's income. All right, it is the daily choices, the spending habits, the investing mindset, and the financial discipline that separates those who struggle from those who end up building wealth over time. Bottom line, live within your means and invest for success. All right, number 2 is the Millionaire Next Door formula. So, what is the formula? What do everyday millionaires, the ones who don't flash their wealth but quietly accumulate it, actually do? Well, they save first and spend later, while most people do the opposite. Most people get paid, then cover their bills, maybe. Sometimes they spend before they cover their bills. And then they spend what they want, and then they still have bills, and then if anything is left, they spend what they want. So they don't have any investments, they probably have debt, and they're no further ahead. The Millionaires Next Door, also known as the millionaires on Main Street. Those who made their wealth did it by flipping this formula. They budget and save. They save a percentage of their income always before spending. They automate their savings and investments, so it's not an afterthought. They focus on building assets, not just covering their expenses. They invest consistently, no matter how much their income. You don't need a 6-figure salary to invest, but what you do need is consistency. $125 a week times 4 weeks in a month is $500. Times $500 a month times 12 months, and you've saved $6,000 a year. Just this little bit of discipline will have $6,000 saved before you even invest it. Let's look at $50 a month in an index fund. Even that can snowball over time. And the earlier you start, the easier wealth building becomes. We call it compounding. And Albert Einstein even once said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Think about that for a minute. Okay, if we use the example from earlier where you invest $6,000 and then never add to it again and invest it and let it double, here's what would happen. 6,000 turns into 12, 12 into 24, 24 into 48, 48 to 96, 96 to 192. 192 will double to 384, 384 to 768, and 768,000 will double to $1,536,000. All of that just from compounding off of $6,000. My friends, that is a big time booyah. Now, what else do millionaires on Main Street do? Well, they avoid this thing called lifestyle inflation. Most people you see, when they earn more, they spend more. They upgrade their car. They move into a bigger house. They take another vacation. And suddenly, their new income just disappears as fast as before. They make more money, and they spend more, and they have no more left. However, the Millionaire Next Door, they don't do that. They live below their means. And I think this is funny. What does means mean? Well, means how much you make. So live below what you make, period. These millionaires, they increase their investments before their lifestyle. They drive reliable cars, they own homes they can afford, and they focus on the long-term impact of investing for their financial growth. In fact, a study by Thomas Stanley in the book, The Millionaire Next Door, found that the average millionaire doesn't live in a mansion or even drive a luxury car. Instead, 64% have never even bought a brand new car. And Most millionaires next door live in modest homes and even had a mortgage until over time they paid it off. These millionaires next door build generational wealth by making intentional choices. All right, next up is the power of small but smart decisions. So you might be thinking, do I have enough money to start building wealth? Well, the real question is, am I making the right moves with what I have? And you can ask yourself the following. Am I saving a percentage of my income, no matter how small that income may be? Am I investing for long-term growth so I can absolutely benefit from the power of compounding? And do I spend more on liabilities or on assets? Assets are investments, things that have value. Liabilities are debt, things with no value that you actually have to pay back for over time. And check this out. It's not about cutting out every small joy or $8 latte, although that would be a smart decision. However, it's really about being smart with the big stuff and then everything else in moderation. You don't have to stop drinking coffee, but it doesn't have to be the $8 cup from Starbucks either. How about you make it at home? How about you make better decisions? You also don't have to have a luxury car to get around town. Maybe rethink that lease that you really can't afford. And you certainly don't have to eat ramen every night. But you also don't have to go out to that expensive restaurant every night either. Or even the super unhealthy, but still expensive fast food restaurant either. Maybe choose to cook at home. You could even go shop organic and do this thing called meal prep. You can buy in bulk and make your meals for the entire week. All right, the bottom line. The difference between wealth and struggle isn't about denying yourself. It's about being intentional. Have a plan and stick to it. All right, well, next up is what we call the 10-year test. What are you building? As we begin to wrap up the show, here's a great, quick question for you. If you keep handling money the way you are today, where will you be in 10 years? Are you on track for a solid savings and investment portfolio? Do you have a financial cushion that lets you live stress-free? Or how about a future where work is optional, not mandatory? Or how about the other way? Are you stuck in a cycle of paycheck to paycheck survival? Are you working hard but never really getting ahead? And are you financing your current lifestyle at the cost of your future self? Well, the truth is, the decisions you make today absolutely shape the wealth you have tomorrow. We can say it another way. Start seeing your financial choices as seeds you plant in your garden. What you plant today through saving, investing, and making smart money decisions will likely be what can grow into the financial freedom you want. As you may have heard, the small acorn, when given water, oxygen, sunlight, and time, will grow into the big oak tree. Okay, well, in closing, your financial future starts today. And you don't need a higher paycheck, you really need a better plan. And the best part, you can start right now. Just do the following. Save a little more than you did last month. Invest, even if it's just a small amount at first. And spend intentionally, not emotionally. I know it makes sense, but you just have to do it. And if this hits home for you, will you do us a favor? Will you hit the like button so more people will see this? How about you drop a comment? Maybe something like, what's one financial habit you're committed to today? And would you please share this video with someone who needs to hear it? Because the truth is, wealth isn't about luck or waiting for your inheritance. It's about a sound strategy. And together, we can rewrite the narrative about wealth, making one smart decision at a time. With that, I want to thank you for tuning in today. And as I always say, live your best life, be radically generous, a great big booyah to ya. And this has been another What Do We Do podcast episode, but we're just getting started.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. It's only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember investing involves risks and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional.